John, you hit your first viral video short.
Yeah, good afternoon, Beto. You kind of threw me for a loop when I walked in the door. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting, and it's kind of blows me away that I wasn't even talking about God or anything. I was talking.
Exactly.
I was talking about how I got started off in life.
Yeah. No, and that's great. And we're gonna go over the video and just have your reaction. And here you go. Here's the first one that kind of like has taken off.
Yeah, this whole process has been fun.
Okay, so let's listen to it.
My dad was a doctor, so I thought when I graduated from high school, there'd be a new car sitting in the driveway, and they'd be telling me how I'd be going to medical school and become a doctor like my dad, right?
Yeah.
Graduation day happened, and I kept looking out the window and looking for the new car. Wasn't there.
Well, like a little bit of entitlement. Like, where's my gift?
Yes, I was a bit presumptuous at the time, that's for sure.
Wow.
My mom rolled out a suitcase, and my dad gave me a beer. Never had a beer in front of my parents before until graduation day. Oh, thanks, Dad. And so I'm sipping on my beer, looking out the window, looking at that suitcase, and my dad says, okay, son, finish your beer, pack your suitcase, and get out of here.
Wow.
So much for the new car in college, right? I got a job the next day. My first job was sweeping floors in an airport hangar floor.
Wow.
50 cents an hour.
Boom. How do you react to this? Like this news, this video?
Well,
why do you think this is happening?
Well, it's me, so it's my life. So I look at it and react personally because it's everyone's life is a pretty personal experience. And as far as my dad, he grew up in absolute poverty, and just had nothing going for him. Joined the Air Force to escape his circumstances, and my mom did the same thing. She grew up in poverty and joined the Air Force to escape her circumstances, and there they met.
Oh, wow. They were both in the Air Force.
Yeah, my mom was a drill sergeant.
Oh.
and my dad was a radio operator, actually, in the Pentagon for Eisenhower back in the 50s. So my dad was, very, very talented. And as far as me, when I was sitting there in the living room having a beer and watching my suitcase getting rolled out, hello, my new YouTube audience. I'm John, the man who talks with God. I'd truly love it if you would subscribe to this channel to receive more content like this. I was sitting there as the rich kid in town. No doubt. There's my little farm town that I grew up in was 2,300 people in population, and my dad was the doctor there. And other than some, very successful farmers that were around and some other professionals, in terms of success in life, my dad was kind of the poster child there. So I knew, knowing him, that I would have a lot of opportunities. But I never thought I'd have to go out and discover life on my own.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I think this is a very special video, and I want to go over some of the comments because that'll give us, okay, why are people resonating with this? But I want to say, I mean, this is so cool that you as a content creator, and even at 70, have such a fresh memory of something that happened. I mean, at this point, it's out of high school, right? So it's many years ago, but I feel like we all go through those moments where something impacted us. Like I can think of moments as a child with my dad, and there's many that I've lost, right? Memories that are not there anymore. But there's little memories here and there of very specific moments. And I think for you, this one was in particular like very specific and impactful. And I think for many people, maybe coming out of high school, right? Like, I don't know what the next step in my life is going to be. and then they watch this video and then start resonating with it. Oh, okay, yeah, gotta work, right? Whether it was 50 years ago or nowadays, I feel like everybody needs a job, right? Needs to do something.
Well, that's for sure. And to me, that was really the first time in my life I was told no. And,
Wow.
And so, when you have things that don't go your way, those are the things you remember for a lifetime. So I've had a lot of things that have gone wrong in my life. So I've got a very sharp memory because I've got a lot to remember. I got my butt kicked a lot of times, Beto.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And you don't and you don't forget a butt kicking.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Okay, so we're gonna go over some of the comments. All right, and I've read a few, but now you have like 28 comments,
Wow.
so I don't even know what's there. Right? All I want to say is that we don't need to focus so much on who they are because you never know. It's like somebody out there, and because I'm saying that because sometimes there's nasty comments. It happens to me. It happens on every channel on the internet. People say whatever they want.
Well, I'm not doing my thing right if I'm not getting nasty comments because I've picked a pretty controversial topic. This man talks with God. Come on.
Yes. Okay. So first comment, it says right here, Nana Business. I guess that's her name, or at least her YouTube name. And this would have been the last time I saw my parents.
Wow.
Does it make sense?
Well, that is so sad. That's the lady's got a heavy, heavy heart.
Wow.
I don't know where to go with that. I was blessed. My dad's gone. He passed when he was 82, 10, 12 years ago, and my mom is 93 and still going strong. So to lose a parent at your youth, and I can imagine parents losing a child that hasn't had a chance to grow up. Yeah, that's tough, and I just hope that experience hasn't hardened Nana's heart, because God is in the business of repairing and fixing and soothing broken hearts, and she obviously has one. So
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, there's more. Okay, and this I'm gonna have to kind of like bleep it out because it says that was a beep beep a hole. That's what one says.
Okay, well, fine. You got your opinion. I've got a wife, a brother, and a sister who'd probably agree with you.
Wow. Okay. Let's that makes, is that good or bad?
Well, it is what it is.
Right?
Yeah. When you try to be real and honest with yourself, you're not going to please everybody by definition. And like I said, waiting to be 70 years to jump into something like this, I've certainly picked the juiciest of controversial subjects, and that's each person's relationship with Creator God.
Oh, okay. That's such a great point, and I wanted to say, let me see. Well, there's so many comments that I want to go over to, but okay, I guess I'll just go over to the next comment, because there's a lot, and I don't want to make this super long. But okay, in the not so distant past in Italy, families built generational wealth. They built the houses upon entire city blocks. The separation of family and generational wealth has cost us greatly. And then someone replied to that person, and it says, and Italy is the paragon of a society without corruption. The whole point of the state tax is to destroy generational wealth. I wonder how old are these people that are tuning into this video? I feel like some of them could be younger. Maybe the ones that are saying, oh, your dad was this or was that. Maybe they're the younger crowd then the ones that are start elaborating on, oh yeah, back in my days or back in Italy, I feel like, okay, maybe you can sense that they have a little more background, right? Or I would assume, right? I don't know. This is just people on the internet commenting on your video, but yeah.
Yeah. I really don't know what to say from that other than we should look back to God when we're looking at how societies are ordered and how Italy is and why we are the way we are in America and how through the evolution of mankind, different societies and what have you, all of those were put there by God to teach us lessons of what to do, what not to do, and why. And see, I believe we would all be better served if we would leave our past behind us. I'm not saying if somebody who came into an inheritance and got some money, they certainly don't throw it away and don't give it away. Use it wisely. But if you take a look at the early church, that was the model of how we should all be. It was true believers without any structure, without any institutions, gathering in the homes of other believers to share their understandings and their meditations, their considerations of the Bible, to share food and to share their resources with other believers that had need for it. And so I don't like where that's going from the standpoint of looking at the state when we should all take responsibility for ourselves. It's a privilege that we all have of walking this earth and living out these lives. Let's assume the ultimate responsibility for taking care of ourselves, and in the process grow personally and ideally grow personally towards the direction of God.
I can't believe out of a YouTube comment, you said all of that. I mean, that's so epic. And no wonder you're the man that talks with God, and I love that you're pointing back to God, like with all these comments, as some of them kind of like nasty as they are. And this is just the reality of life, right? People can say whatever they want on the internet.
Well,
not that they should, but it's a free platform.
Well,
right?
Well, this is where I live and breathe. So the filter that I have is the Bible and what the Holy Spirit has taught me directly, and so I look at it more of I would think as a Christian purist.
Okay.
Yeah. And my goal in my life, and I do a terrible job at it. I'm awful at being a Christian, but my goal is to thread that needle so finely. But that's impossible. So I live with I pick up my cross and carry cross. I pick up my cross and follow Christ, and that cross is our sin nature. So it's always with us, and it's always going to fight against us. So the only defense we've got is to keep our eyes and our minds and our hearts on Christ and try to learn the lessons He taught us.
So good. Okay, I'm going to read over some of the next comments, and then whichever kind of like stands out as I read a bunch of them, just elaborate on those, and then we're going to wrap it up, okay? So I'll just kind of like glance over some of them, but be thinking about like which one you kind of like want to respond more, because there's a lot. There's still a lot of them. Okay, so here we go. Let me see. Let me show people here. Every different time then, rent was cheap. Cars and gas were cheap. Jobs everywhere. I hate to be a kid now. Wow. And it has some replies. For real, my gramps never finished high school, but was able to raise 5 kids and buy a house. Meanwhile, I'll be paying student loan debt rest of my life, living in a small, cramped apartment. Can't afford any kids and thus don't have any. I will own nothing and be happy. I got the first part down. When does the second part kick in? And then somebody responded to them. This is just wow. How many people respond to each other on out of the prompting of your video, right? It's crazy. And society wonders why populations are declining. I hope things turn around for you and you find happiness. And then somebody is just like throwing cuss words right there. Another comment: throwing your kid out of the house upon high school graduation is acceptable? And then it has like 7 different replies to that comment, which is intense. It says, works better if they know to expect it so they can prepare. Our job as parents isn't to have 30-year-old children depending on us. It's to prepare them to be productive, contributing members of society. Another response says, another chip at destroying nuclear and extended nuclear families. Most of us couldn't wait to get out of our parents' homes. All of my friends and I, we just all moved out. It was just what people did back then.
That's right.
Wow. Another response: our job as parents is to take care of our children, point blank. Just because they graduated doesn't mean they're not our children anymore. Well, wow, that one's pretty long. I suppose we can agree to disagree. My kid turns 21 next week. It's finishing his junior year at an excellent university on about 95% scholarship and the president of his fraternity. And then, oh man, another super long comment. So another life story right there, I guess. Your sister way is definitely not my way. Maybe our mindsets start from the same place, but I would absolutely not accept that kind of behavior. Well, that's all in response to like, is this acceptable or not, right? To kick your kid out. And then another comment, it says, assuming this was in 1964 or earlier, 50 cents would be about $50 an hour today. And then it has a bunch of replies too on that one. It says, no, you're missing a decimal. I wish it was only 10% loss of buying power over half a century, but we lost 10% in the last few months. Wow, I mean, all kinds of comments right here on pretty much economics. So the economics of the video, I guess, stirs. I think the main 2 topics that I see is one, family dynamics, right? The relationship when a kid gets out of the house, basically. When should that happen and how it happened for you? And then the economics, and that kind of like tied into back in the days, how 50 cents an hour, like if you compare that to today, that's literally like nothing.
Well, that's right. And what I was struck by listening to
some of his comments,
go through all of that,
yeah,
is if you think about it, the theme going all the way through was on society and how society has changed, and how because of changes in society, how parents are perhaps interacting with their kids differently and what have you. Mm-hmm. And that's a normal evolution. What we didn't hear in any of those things, which just really made me sad and convinces me ever more for the need of purpose transformative prayer, is there was no emphasis, there was no going back around and going full circle to God. Where is God in all of these, in all of these things, in everybody's life? So going through those comments and what have you, the impression I get is, how sad that God is not more front and center in more people's lives than he is, because we're defaulting to society and the world at large, the quote, the world.
Wow. And also it's almost, that's when I see YouTube, and especially coming from a Christian standpoint, as an opportunity to reach out to, let's just say, the lost, right? As the Bible calls us out. And in this way, I mean, I think this is a great occasion for you to invite people on, one, follow your podcast, but then also your transformative prayer model, right? So just let's end on that note. If these people that are going through these things, ultimately the goal of this channel is for them to pray and connect with God.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And let me say this in closing. I was with most of those people. You might remember from a past video. I walked as a prodigal. I walked not being close to God for a long time, and it took me 35 years of purposely trying to connect with Jesus Christ in a personal relationship that was tangible and communicative. It took me 35 years to do that. But before I was able to do that, I was exactly right where all of those people are, because without a spiritual influence front and center in your head as you go through your day, your thoughts are going to automatically default to the world around us and not to the God who created us.
Yeah. Italy, and my parents this, my parents that, but
well, that's right. And even though my mission, I'm not an evangelist, and I'm not trying to win souls for Christ. I'm trying to provide training to people who are true believers, who are already born again Christians, that, hey, when the Apostle John says that we should worship in truth and in the Spirit, because those are the type of believers that the Father desires, that is my audience, is to show people the way to worship by means of prayer in the Spirit from a foundation of truth. And then there's that first person vibrant, tangible, interactive relationship that the Bible's been speaking about since Adam and Eve.
Moral of the story is, maybe some of you who have been commenting on this video or other videos, it's time for you to start connecting with God. Right.
Well, that and with respect to my videos and stuff,
Yes.
Please, when you comment, ask a question. What are your roadblocks? Where are you hung up?
Yeah.
What area of theology? Where in the Bible? Where in your personal lives are you getting hung up? Just look around. The world is a testimony to itself. It did not form out of a dust cloud.
Yes.
God Almighty formed this world, and He individually created every person in it.
So good. Okay, so say where people can go, your website.
Sanctification-nation.org. There you can see all of my content on the website and have links to all my podcasts. And there you can also sign up to receive some of my free Purpose Transformative Prayer training. We're in the process of testing and evaluating how effective Purpose Transformative Prayer is going to be for others. Hope you join us.